What is up, everybody? Adventure Zach here. Here's one of my latest upgrades for the bike. As you guys can see, I just received this in today. And if you saw my previous video of me removing my handlebars and everything off the OEM handlebars, I think you'll know why I'm doing that as well. That's something that's going to be coming in tomorrow. So I'm extremely excited for this. This is the Tusk DSport. And as you guys can see, look at the tread on that bad boy. But it's a dual sport tire, so it's supposed to be really good on the street and off the street. And it's funny because a lot of guys are actually saying that they prefer it over the D606. So we'll see. I got a D606 front. I've never had a D606 rear. But we're going to see how the how the Tusk DSport works opposed to the Kenda K270 rear. The difference in the knobs is night and day difference. I mean, it's so much bigger here. Let's go ahead and rip this rear tire off. Break that bad boy free just like that. As you guys can see, I'll show you a little bit better when it's side by side when I get this wheel off the bike, but you can see, look at the difference in the tread from what I just showed you earlier. This is an amazing tire. This tire is awesome. It's still 85 to 90% tread life left on this thing, but we're going to go ahead and try the other one due to the conditions that we ride. And you know, I like the fact of a harder carcass tire. Some people don't like to ride super low PSI. I ran this at a decently, still what some would say high, 15 to 16 pounds, even before I had the bead lock, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing. Pop the axle out. And the tire's off. It's that simple. All right, so what we do next, guys, as we come over to the tire, you want to place it down on something. Obviously, I got it stacked on a couple of different tires. Here's the new tire. What I want to do, or what I always do, is I always do the brake rotor up, okay? Typically, mainly because you don't want to have the rotor down on the ground and you bend it or something, but you shouldn't bend the rotor anyways, because if you got the bare tire down on the concrete, then you're doing it completely wrong. Don't even change your tire if you're going to do that. You'll mess your rotor up. You can even mess your sprocket up. So always want to have it stood off on something like this off the ground. Lift it up with a hole in the center so they're not on the ground. What we do first is get our valve stem core removal tool. This is actually just a valve stem cap that I use on my front tire. I do have two other valve core removal tools, but I'm going to go ahead and use this so I don't have to dig the other ones out. This can act as a third tire spoon. I got two Motion Pro Bead Buddy or Bead Breaker. What do they call them? Heavy Duty Bead Pros. These things are awesome. The bead breakers on one end, tire spoons on the other. I have two of them. So we're gonna loosen up take our valve stem out, valve core out, and we're gonna loosen up our bead lock. What you want to do with your valve core is just be mindful that if you take it all the way out and you don't keep downward pressure on it, it'll shoot the damn thing right out at you. And if you don't have any spares, then you could lose your core. As simple as that. Now I'm not going to show you guys my entire process because I don't want to have a long video. I want to show you guys right now how to break the bead with these. You take one side, you see how it angles downward. I'm going to just pop it down in the tire like so. Okay. Take this side like this. See how it's up against the rim. And you bend it downward. That's all you got to do. And you move on to the next spot. Now, one thing I will say that I did notice, I already knew the Kenda K270 was a really, really soft tire, okay? But this Tusk DSport tire feels really, really hard. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to get these on fairly easily. And as you can see, that bead's already broke. We can go ahead and push the bead off all the way around the tire. We can go ahead and push the bead off, pop it off just like that. Okay. You can flip the tire over. Do the same thing on this side. All right, so on to the next step. I got these rim shields. I'll use them for a second and show you guys. But honestly, I don't really ever use them on this. If I'm changing the tires on a sport bike or something, black rims, you know, something like that I don't want to scuff it. I'll tell you guys, these rims that are on my tire right here, you know, you're riding in the dirt, you're riding in rocks, you're riding in all that kind of stuff. You know, you're gonna scuff your rim to begin with. So I don't even sweat it. So all I do is I get a bite here, bring it over, a bite here. We got that much of the tire off. We come over here for another bite. Not too big of bites, little bites, man. And what they mean by that is don't take too much tire with one spoon. So you see where I'm at right here? Now, if I moved this to here and I tried to pop that out, it would never happen. So if you ever get to a point to where it's too tight and it does not feel like you can get it to go, you're taking too big a bite, even if you only go by 1 inch increments. We're gonna come on to our next one here. Just come over. Again, you just take your time. Obviously make sure your spoon's not upside down. And you just pop it off. We're just using the rim shields right now just to show you guys how they work. I don't ever use them though. As you can see, tire's just popping off. Easy peasy now. I'll probably come over to here, take this last bite off, probably pop the whole tire off. Now one more bite, should be good. So right here, right at the rim lock, boom. That side's off. So you guys can see, it's as simple as that. Tire spoons, rim shields. This is just a bead buddy. Show you guys how we use this. Don't really need to use it for this. That's one side off. All I do to pop this tire off, I grab a tire iron like this, bend it over, take my knee, and I roll the tire off. And that's it. I don't need to show you guys because I'm gonna fall trying to have the camera good. That's all you gotta do. And that's it, as you guys can see. Pop it off just like that. Roll it off with your knee. Old tire's off. This is a little comparison, guys, between the Tusk DSport to the Kenda K270. As you can see, my K270 still is 80-90% tread life left. It's never, the K270 is never as deep as this is. It never was. But this tire right here is gnarly. Something I have noticed though with this thing is super hard. K270 is really soft, as you can see. This tire don't even flex. See how the K270 is flexing? I'm squeezing the Tusk DSport the same exact amount and it's not even budging. You guys see that? It ain't budging. So this is a really hard carcass tire. This is a much softer carcass. This does really good though in rocky terrain, sandy terrain, lower pressure in the woods works amazing with it. It's amazing on road. We'll see how this is on the road because it's a lot harder. We'll see how this is in the woods when you're on, you know, rocks and things of that nature because it's not very sticky, but we'll see how it breaks in once we take it on the pavement, take it in the woods a little bit. All right, so we got rain out here again, guys. It's been constantly raining nonstop all the time. Steal your wife's blow dryer. Put it on low heat though. We're gonna put it on warm and low heat, okay? And slide it inside the tire here. This tire is gonna be kind of hard because, dude, this thing is rock hard, but I'll get it. That's as good as I can get it, guys. We're just gonna turn it on, let it go for a little bit, let it heat up. The air will move around inside the tire like a wind tunnel. Now, like I told you guys, I'm not going to show you guys every single step by step. I'm going to show you the steps that I'm doing. I'm doing the same way to put the tire on the rim as I did when I took the tire off the rim on the last side. You just drop the rim inside the tire, grab the insides like this, and then you just get to it and slide it on. All right, and now the tire is back on the rim, guys. That took me probably about a minute. This is a very hard carcass, so I didn't want to film the whole thing. All you got to do is drop the rim back inside of the tire like this, and then obviously you'll have the outside on it. You just start grabbing your spoons from here, popping it open, popping it open. This tire right here, I had to use increments of about, I don't know, 4 inches. So, but it literally took me a minute. Took me no more than a minute to do that start to finish. It's just really hard to film it and do that. Cameras all over the place. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Most people who install their own tires know this trick. Take a little bit of baby powder. Now she's open. The way we want her. Not too much. Just get some in there like that. Baby powder doesn't hurt nothing. Roll the tire around like this. Gets the baby powder moved all around inside the tire. What that's going to do is keep the tube from pinching, from binding up inside the tire, pinching the tube when you're inflating it. Alright guys, so the rim lock is back installed. It only took me about a minute to do it as well, but it was really tough because this tire is so stiff. I wasn't able to get my hands underneath of it like I usually can. So what I actually did is I laid the rim lock in there, and it just so happened to land there nice and straight, and I could see the tip of the threads at the hole. It just wouldn't come through. So what I did is I pinched the rim to the tire so the rim lock wouldn't move. I tipped it upside down, gave it a little bit of a shake, and boom, it fell right through. I don't know if that was just sheer luck. I've never had to do it that way before, but it went. I got it in, bing bang boom, wasn't too bad. If you guys saw what I carry on with me in the trails, my video, we're going to show you guys how to use my special T-valve stem tool. Alright guys, so what I did to get that out, I lifted the tire up, pushed it through, I grabbed it through the back side, then I folded the tire over and I shook the tire and it fell out this side right here, which is exactly what you want, because when it's like this, you're not going to get it through. It's pinching up against the rim. Now it's through though, and as you can see, it can't pull through, and I think you guys have an idea of how this works now. We're going to go ahead and make sure we don't have any holes in this tire since I pulled the tube out. I don't think I'm ever going to make that mistake again of putting a tube in that I got a pinch flat to with the tire spoons, that is. So we're going to pump this tire up, put the valve stem core already in. We're just going to make sure we don't have any flats from when we rip the tire off. I think I can say we're good. I don't hear or see any leaks. Usually you'll hear them. Pump it up a little bit, quite a bit, where you can hear it going, no leaks. I want to tell you guys just a real quick crucial step. Didn't get the full tube in yet. I'm getting that last bit in right this second. What you want to always do though is make sure that your your rim lock is not squishing on your tube. So if your tube gets pinched underneath the rim lock, if you don't check that and you don't fold your tube on top of your rim lock, then you're going to have all for a bad day when you get this tire on. Alright, so now what we do with this tool, guys, this tool actually threads right into your valve stem. I don't know how I would have did that if I didn't have that tool, because that was the hardest valve stem I've ever done in my entire life of riding to get through on a rim. This tire is so damn stiff, man. Alright, so what I like to do next, guys, is I like to actually put the valve core back in the stem, and I like to actually pump the tire up a little bit and just make sure it kind of expands itself a little bit in the rim. I only do that just to get all the kinks and crinks and all that stuff out of the tube, so we know the tube's nice and seated, and we know it's above the bead lock. We can get the valve stem out completely right now. The valve stem's not going to be, you know, twisted here or anything like that. Alright guys, so this is where I take my bead buddy. I don't know if it's going to work on this. Yeah, it'll work on this one. That's just to keep that portion of the tire down. I'm going to take extremely small bites with this tire. And I've got a third tire iron right here. I've actually got 6 tire irons. I'm going to use these 3. I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing. Maybe I'll show you guys the last bite. We're going to go ahead and get this side of the tire on the rim. One of your best friends sometimes is Windex. If it gets a little tight, pop it right on. Spray some Windex on the, I'll show you right here. You just spray some Windex. Of course, it's locked. Spray a little Windex like that. Wherever you're going to try to wrench it on, boom, boom, boom. Don't soak it in Windex. Just apply a decent little amount to the bead of the tire. Alright guys, so I just want to show you guys real quick. Don't be afraid. As you can tell, look at me. I'm sitting on the tire. Now, it's not on the ground. I'm about a foot off the floor because I'm sitting on other tires. But This is where you guys can pinch your tube and cause a hole, which is exactly what I did in my last rim. I've never done it before in my life. Somehow I did it in my last tire. I think because I was rushing, had the rim locks in, I was installing, blah, blah, blah. Take your time, take your spoon, push it in there, fill your tube, then fold it over. Don't pinch flat your tire. Now see guys, this right here is typically the hardest part to do of the tire. I applied some Windex. Take yourself some super small bites. You see how close my tire spoons are? Make sure you get it in there, rock it back and forth, make sure you're not on your tube. Fold it over, pop your one out. This is where the bead buddy comes in hand, because you see it's not popping the bead out on that side, so the bead all the way around is still in. Usually when you do this, it'll be typically trying to pop that side of the bead out. So what you got to do is you got to have a knee, one knee on each side of the tire like this, with your weight on the tire to keep the bead in. That's what this thing's for. This keeps the bead down, doesn't allow the bead to pop out on that side. Works really well. Again, we're going to pop this last side in. Do really small increments. Even if this takes me 3 more bites, the smaller you go, the better, because if you try to pop this over in one right now, it's never going to go. It's going to be too hard. The spoon's going to want to fling back at you. Take small bites. You guys will have no problem with it whatsoever. And now you can see, one bite, I got that right there left. There we are, guys. She's on all the way. Pop our bead buddy out. Just by kind of twisting it, shimmying around a little bit. Whole tire's on. Now, just a tip, guys. I'm not going to show you guys how to put the tire back on the bike. I don't want to bore you guys with that. If you guys want to see a video on how you install and remove the rear tire and a chain adjustment, let me know. I'm not going to do that tonight because I got quite a few other things that I've got to do. That is how you take a tire off and install a tire on any dual sport. I'm doing it on a CRF250L. This was a Tusk DSport tire. Really hard carcass tire. This is like trying to put a concrete tire on a rim. I mean, it's extremely hard. Again, look guys, as you can see, I'm squeezing this son bitch with everything that I got, and it is not moving. It ain't flexing, man. It's really rock hard. Super easy. Did it all by hand, no specialty tools, tire irons, bead buddy. You don't have to have the bead buddy, but I tell you what, that bead buddy is amazing. I used to always install tires on rims, on bikes and everything without a bead buddy, and it's a lot easier to have that because you don't have to be down on your knees, wrenching on it, squishing on it with your knees, trying to keep the bead from popping out when you get those last couple bites in. That's it though, guys. Super easy. If you guys have any questions on anything, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned for more. Got the handlebar installation video coming in next. I'm going to do a full install on how I do my handlebars for you guys. Other than that, the guys, Adventure Zach is out. Peace.